The latest game from Flying Wild Hog feels like a title from the Xbox 360 era, and not for the better. But if you're interested in Shadow Warrior 3, it could be worth a buy. The story so far. Shadow Warrior 3 takes place months after the events of the second game. The dragon that was unleashed upon the world has wiped out most of the population, and Lo Wang is the only person who can stop it. The problem is, he's lost his mojo. Knowing that he's their only chance for survival, Wang's former employer and rival, Zilla, has come to beg Wang to help him stop the dragon. And that's all you get. If you were hoping for answers to the massive cliffhangers from the previous game, you're out of luck. The story in Shadow Warrior 3, to put it kindly, is sparse. There's very little in the way of motivation for what you're doing, and that leads to forgettable moments throughout its campaign. Instead of offering new content, the writers chose to rehash moments from prior entries. Hoji is back, and while it's great to hear that iconic voice again, it doesn't feel like his return was earned. You'll see every twist coming from a kilometer away. That's a saying, right? No? Fans of the previous games will notice that the voices of Lo Wang and Zilla have changed. Devolver Digital and Flying Wild Hog decided to recast the characters to be played by Asian actors. But the execution misses the mark. Mike Mo, the actor behind Lo Wang, takes a while to settle into the role. His performance at the beginning of the game feels forced, with even the best jokes falling flat due to his performance. Throughout the game, the performance improves drastically, to the point that I eventually forgot about the change altogether. And Mo's acting shines in more dramatic moments, selling Wang's frustration and fear in a way that felt far more genuine than in past games. Sun Wan Cho does a great job as Zilla, but he isn't given enough material to make Zilla feel like an essential part of the story. There's nothing special here, but the story is serviceable enough to get you from point A to B. If you found the humor from the previous games to be up your alley, you'll still find lines to love here. They throw so many jokes at the wall that a few are bound to stick. Just don't expect to be laughing consistently. Or at all, depending on your tolerance for fart jokes and pop culture references. It would all be more tolerable if the game didn't rely on calling out its own poor mechanics so often. Being self-aware can only excuse so many problems. Shadow Warrior made its name in part thanks to its over-the-top writing, but also thanks to its excellent combat. This entry manages to have some of the series' best gunplay to date thanks to its incredible speed. But this comes at the cost of its swordplay and depth. While Shadow Warrior 2 might have gone overboard with its weapon levels and customization, 3 boils its combat down to the basics. If you loved the swordplay in past games as much as I did, you'll be sorely disappointed here. Gone are the sword combos and abilities, instead replaced by a single button that delivers the same 3 animations. Slashing your sword is no longer a viable way to wipe out hordes of enemies. Your sword is used almost exclusively to replenish your ammo. The team at Flying Wild Hog has clearly been influenced by Doom when it comes to Shadow Warrior's combat loop. You'll need to use your arsenal of guns to take down enemies, but to refill your ammo, you'll need to either pick up blue ammo packs or slash enemies with your sword. I appreciate the way this keeps you in the action at all times, but it comes at the expense of depth. With each enemy killed, you'll gather finisher orbs, allowing you to build up to a gore kill. Each gore kill fills your health and gives you the unique gore weapon of the enemy you used it on. The weapons range from bombs that freeze the field of enemies to deadly swords. This loop gives each encounter a particular rhythm. You'll dance between enemies, leaving explosions in your wake. But it's a very different approach from the developers' past efforts, something that may not sit well with fans. More importantly, it pales in comparison to its contemporaries. Gore kills, a play on glory kills from Doom, may serve a purpose to the loop, but the animations pause combat for far too long, interrupting the flow entirely. They don't feel satisfying, nor do the abilities they offer. The abilities feel unbalanced, with some feeling completely broken, while others offer no value in combat. The Hattori sword can take down the strongest enemy in the game in a matter of blows before automatically targeting the next. It makes even the most challenging encounters too easy. By contrast, the Onihama hammer does very little damage and feels weightless in your hand despite its enormous size. This same inconsistency applies to the weapons in your arsenal. Some weapons feel satisfying to use, while others lack the appropriate level of kick. I believe the technical term is oomph. In conclusion, Shadow Warrior 3 has chosen a different art style than its predecessors. At times, you can appreciate the brighter color palette, particularly in some of the later levels. However, on the whole, the visuals were difficult to distinguish, with all of the colors blending together in one big rainbow blur. The last thing you want when you're fighting for your life is to be confused as to what's happening on screen. This is also due in part to the game's graphics and performance. Playing on PC, I saw consistent stuttering, texture pop-in, and low frame rates. Considering the game is designed for last-gen consoles, this is disappointing.